Okay, and we're live. So, not on the best circumstances, and I'm gonna just kick it off with a little bit of music, kind of let some people roll in here, and we'll kind of see how we feel and discuss. A little sadder tone, a little more mellow today because we just saw the largest liquidation ever, largest liquidation in crypto history, literally wiped out longs, shorts out. Just take a little bit, kind of let that soak in, and actually, now let me cut the music there. Let's take a moment of silence just for the longs, for the shorts, people in spot. Let's just take some time to understand what just happened. Is this market manipulation? You know, pour one out for the guys that lost a lot of money. Congratulations if you saw this coming and you made a lot of money and you shorted it on the way down. But longs and shorts both got liquidated. Like literally, the market ran up and they stopped out those shorts, and the longs were in profit. But a lot of people in long were expecting it to continue to go up, and then all of a sudden, boom, literally like 20-30% down Bitcoin. Ethereum went down 30-40%. I saw Chainlink go down 50 to 60%. I literally saw it wick down to $8. I saw Ethereum go down to like almost near 3,000. Bitcoin, surprisingly though, and not too surprising because it is the king, Bitcoin literally was still above 100,000, wick down to 100,000, then boom, shot back up as if not too much happened. Nothing too crazy, but then again, it is crazy. This is the largest liquidation in history. Let me explain that again. The largest in history. Like, this is insane. Literally. This is bigger than COVID. If you were back here in COVID, Bitcoin had a 50% candle. All these other altcoins literally were about dead. This is bigger than that. This is bigger than the Luna collapse, the FTX collapse, all these other big things that happened in the past. This is the biggest. We just lost $9 billion in liquidation. Literally. Let me repeat myself. $9 billion. Billions and billions, as Trump would say. That's how much we lost. It's not a little amount. The second closest was like 2 billion. And actually, I just want to like literally pull up that chart to show you exactly what I'm looking at. I want to show you that other graphic here. So literally the second closest was not even that close. The second closest wasn't even close. Like, what does that tell you? That tells you that we just saw history. We may even see like a movie about what just happened. Okay, let's look here. What just happened yesterday? Remember, October 10th, 2025. Do not forget that date because that was history. Now, what we're seeing on that day was almost 9 billion. It actually did go up to 9 billion. So this may not be completely updated, but in a 24-hour time frame, we lost $9 billion. The second closest was $2.2 billion. So with that being 2.2 billion and then we lost 9 billion, that's a huge difference, right? That's a very big difference. So that is 8 billion difference. And then the third closest after that is 1 billion. Right? These are insane metrics. I don't know if you're comprehending, or not saying that you're not comprehending, but even it took me some time to understand. I had to literally sit there and stare at this and be like, what in the world just happened? I remember seeing this happen live. I had to like step away from what I was doing, look at my phone, double check across exchanges, across CoinGecko, across different like price based websites that show you the price. And I had to literally sit there and just like, I was like frozen for a second because I had no idea what was going on. Literally frozen, What in the world is going on? Why did we see this big liquidation? Like, what the heck, right? What is this? That is what we saw yesterday, October 10th. That is what we were looking at. That is insane. I just still can't even comprehend it. To see all these altcoins flash crash, Bitcoin flash crash. This was the biggest liquidation in history. Biggest. Okay, and now let's ask ourselves why. Why did this happen? Why in the world are we dropping so hard? What wasn't October supposed to be Uptober? Wasn't Q4 supposed to be super bullish? Weren't we supposed to head up? Well, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Everyone and their mothers thought that we were going to go on an uptrend in Q4. Bitcoin won $50,000 target, Ethereum, 10,000 maybe, or maybe above, close to it. Chainlink going to like 40, 50. Everyone and their mothers thought this, right? Everyone was thinking about this, but you have to be a contrarian when everyone is on one side. That's when you want to start feeling a little bearish, when every single person is saying that we are bullish, right? Like, you can't just go with the trend, right? You know the famous saying, you don't jump off a cliff because your friends jump off a cliff. You want to be different. You want to have an outlook that is contrarian and that can literally see these moves before it happens. So you want to be able to predict stuff like this so you can capitalize from it, right? And obviously, no one's going to predict this unless you're an insider. Speaking on insiders, there was someone that opened a short minutes before this happened. But before I get into that person and how many millions that short actually made, I want to tell you why this happened. This is all due to tariffs. This is literally FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt due to the fact of tariffs. Literally, Trump came out and literally said that he's going to put 100% tariffs, 100% tariffs on China. I want to show you exactly that tweet and what he said. Okay, this is it. Trump has 100,000 tariffs on China. Before it was like, I don't know, it went up to like 40, 50. Maybe they met at like 20, 30. I don't remember the tariffs. Don't quote me on that. But right now, he is firm. He's putting his foot down and he's saying 100% tariff. That is insane. 100% on China, where we get most of our, parts, our electronics, clothing, like you name it. We get a lot of stuff from China. And now Trump wants to come out and say 100% tariffs. Like, come on. What are you doing? Why are you putting 100% tariffs? Why are you spooking the market? Why are you killing October? That's my mindset. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you sitting here saying all of this? It makes no sense. I see some people here, blow up that chat. Tell me how you feel about this. How do you feel about the liquidation? Did you profit from it? Are you at least safe from it? Like, go ahead, blow up that chat. Tell me how you guys feel. But this to me is insane. Like, I still can't really fathom what happened, what's going on, or where even the future is headed. That's how vague the market is right now. Not to say I'm not long-term bullish. I will always be long-term bullish on crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Link. I say it in every single one of my videos. Those are my top 3, and they always will be. Nothing will ever change from that. So keep that in mind. But literally, Bitcoin lost 10%. It actually wicked down more. I think I want to say closer to like 20%. But it, boom, like straight down. Literally, no, like literally nuked down. No signs of a bottom. As soon as Trump released this announcement saying that he's doing 100%, tariff tax, pretty much, right? That's what happened when he came out. Now, Trump literally following that statement, Trump literally said, "Oh, but I'll probably be in negotiations with China just to discuss what the next steps are." So this guy literally nuked the market and definitely knew that he nuked the market. And then he comes out and says, the meeting's not canceled. I'm still going to have a meeting with, China's government, their leaders. And like, come on, you're going to sit here and nuke the market. Then you're going to come here and say, oh, I'm going to actually talk to the leader of China and we're going to discuss this and maybe we'll drop it back down to 20-30% tariffs. So you nuke the market. You probably had shorts open, so you knew the nuking was going to happen. And then after doing all of this, you're just going to sit here and say, oh, I'm actually still going to negotiate. Cool. You're going to negotiate. You're going to watch people get liquidated. Again, I mean, if you're trading leverage, you're going to get liquidated. Give me a second. But if you are like in spot, sure, maybe you're safe for a little bit, but even people in spot got hurt a lot. Like, especially in these other altcoins, Bitcoin held strong, right? Which is expected. But even Ethereum, even Chainlink literally fell so hard. And I'll get into the chart. But these other coins, like they dumped super hard. And I'll touch on a lot of them. Like some of these are strong DeFi projects. They have great backings, good utility. They actually have use case. And they literally wicked down to like cents. And they were sitting at dollars. Right? It's just insane to see, in my opinion. And all of this is literally or just could be negotiation tactics for Trump. Trump is literally going to be like, okay, I will sit here and I'm going to put 100,000. He did this before. I'm going to put 100,000 on China tariff tax. And now I'm going to negotiate and say, oh, I just started at a high number. We're actually going to come down to like 20-30%. Why are you spooking the markets? What's up with this like taco trade, right? I'm sure if you're not familiar, Trump always chickens out. That's what the taco trade is. Basically, you want to sell the market before he announces these tariffs, or sell it when he does, and then buy it when he comes back and negotiates at a lower rate, tariff-wise. That's called the taco trade. Very popular in the stock market, crypto market. We've seen this before, but this was the biggest dump, the biggest liquidation in history. We just witnessed history yesterday. I'm going to keep saying the date, October 10th, 2025, we witnessed history. Now that's pretty insane to see, pretty insane to say, if I'm being honest. This is wild. This is not something we expected in October. This is not something we expected in Q4, not something we expected to end the year. However, this could literally just be the flush and now a buying opportunity. We may have just got the golden buying opportunity before our crazy rally. That is also very, very possible. It is very possible that this wick down is true market manipulation. Trump was going to make this announcement and it was going to dip. And then going back to market manipulation, let me actually show you a tweet here about a guy that literally opened a short 30 minutes before this announcement. So let me pull that up. 30 minutes before. Someone literally came in and said, okay, I'm going to open a Bitcoin short 30 minutes before Trump's announcement. Now, if this isn't insiders, this isn't like someone that knows, I don't know what is. This is clearly inside manipulation. Someone knows something. This guy walked out with $88 million in profit. 88 million. 88 million. I don't know what he started with. I don't know what he bet, but he could have bet millions probably because he knows it's going to dump because he's probably buddies with Trump, or could be Trump himself. Like, that's the thing with crypto. We don't know who is who. Everything is kept anonymous, but we do have a public ledger to see every trade that was put in, every trade that was bought and sold. And this was one of the trades. This is an insider that literally bought shorted 30 minutes before the announcement and then closed out with an $88 million profit. So these are the insiders I'm talking about. These are the type of people that know these things are going to happen. And what are they doing now? They're probably buying a dip. They're probably buying up lots and lots of Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever else they're looking at. That's wild. They probably just got a chance to make a lot of money and then put it back in the market and ride it on the way back up. Right. And this is all plotted, all planned, pure market manipulation. And always remember, price action dictates news. That means this price, based on the charts, based on the technicals, fundamentals, all these other factors, this price was already going to happen, right? That price was going to dump before, it wasn't just the news that caused the price to dump, is what I'm trying to say. The price action dictates the news. So what the normal person would think is that, oh, this news came out and everyone panic sold. That's why we dumped. Sure, the news does have a play on this, but at the same time, you also want to take into the fact that the price was going to dump regardless. Like everyone was too bullish, everyone was leveraged way too high, and that's also because a lot of these perpetual dexes were coming out, like Aster. I think XPL was one. Then we had some on Solana. All these people were over leveraged. So what happens when people get over leveraged and people go too much one way? They get liquidated. And that's exactly what happened. Too many people were long. They had to liquidate those longs, and they set a history while liquidating them. That's exactly what happened. So the price action was dictating the news. The news was just the kicker. The news was literally like, okay, boom. Right when the news drops, that's your ticking time bomb, and boom, that's when everything just went and dumped to the ground. Literally just dumped to the ground. That's it. Everything went up and then boop, dumped to the ground. Right? That's what happened. This is not something unusual. I'm gonna say it's not something that you don't see normally, but at the same time, this scale and magnitude of it, again, was due to the fact that way too many people were long. Too many people had that herd mentality that everything was going to continue to go up. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say I was on the other side of this trade. I also was part of the mentality thinking that Q4 was going to be bullish and October would be bullish. But at the same time, I'm not going back on that statement either. I think it's very possible that where we are at right now, we could just V-shape recovery back up. Speaking of V-shape, a lot of these coins got bought up super quick. So the fact that they got bought up super quick makes me bullish, or also everything was just oversold. So we have a possibility of sweeping those lows and then coming right back up. But let me show you the charts so you know exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm not just blabbering on. Let me pull this up and I'll show you exactly. I'm going to start with the big three as I always do: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Link. And let's kick it off with the king, and that would be Bitcoin itself. So here's Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin, as you can see, this is a nasty bar. I like to use bars again. These are bars. I'm sure you're used to candles, which look like this. I like bars. That's how I read my charts. But that's besides the point. We literally went up here. We were looking good right here in this area. We were looking great. We were we hit an all-time high. Not pushing, sorry. We hit an all-time high right here on, was it October 6th, right? Up to 126. Yeah, October 6th, we hit an all-time high. October 6th. Cool. Normally, when you hit all-time highs, you head into price discovery. So that's when people start to FOMO in. People think they're missing out, or the price does not have any resistance on a technical perspective. So it just continues to go up until it finds a local top and then consolidates and continues to go up. So normally, when assets hit all-time highs, it continues the trend and keeps it super bullish. In this case, that wasn't the case. We literally hit an all-time high on October 6th. So that was 5 days ago. And after the fact, since that all-time high, all the way down to the bottom of this wick, which wicked down to 102,000, which again, insane. 9 billion in Bitcoin still held above $100,000. Insane. Bitcoin is, I'm going to flat out say it, the most valuable asset out there. If you want to just hold something and you want to just ride, just buy Bitcoin. It's that simple. 21 million supply, digital gold, peer-to-peer transactions, blockchain literally started the whole thing. Bitcoin is super strong. Institutions are buying up, banks are buying up, companies are buying up, countries are buying up. You don't want to miss the trend. And if you got lucky, maybe you bought some, below 105, 110. Currently, we're sitting at 112. Okay. But enough of my Bitcoin rant. Let's look at the actual price drop here. So from the top here, from the all-time high at 126,000, we dropped down. Let's see what that is, down to that level. Sorry, right there. That's 19%. So let's just call it 20%, about 20%. We dropped down that hard, 20%. 20% in Bitcoin is no joke. Absolutely no joke. And speaking on that, actually, one of the biggest drops in Bitcoin, let me pull up that tweet because there was a tweet about it saying that this is literally the biggest drop in Bitcoin. Where is that? Yep, right here. So this is Bitcoin's very first ever $20,000 candle. In Bitcoin, this one candle lost $20,000. We lost $20,000 in Bitcoin's price in a single candle. This is probably on the daily. A daily candle, we lost $20,000. I was thinking we were going to see a upside $20,000 candle before we saw a downside $20,000 candle as the price was appreciating and reaching an all-time high. But clearly I was wrong, and we literally saw a downside $20,000 daily difference, daily drop in Bitcoin. That is very significant. That is huge. This is the first time this has ever happened. And Bitcoin went from, again, exactly what I showed you on the charts, up to 126, down to that 102,000 range around that price. That's what happened right there. Insane. Absolutely insane. And I see some people rolling in here. Please blow up that chat. Tell me how you feel about this. How do you feel about the future? Do you think we're actually going to turn bullish, or do you think this is the start of a bear market? Like, I want to know your opinion on it. My opinion, because if you want to hear my opinion, I'm here to tell you that I do feel like we could sweep those lows. So if I pull up that chart again, we could sweep those lows and then kind of come back up. Like, that's very possible. It's very possible that we could come in here and sweep that 100,000 and then kind of scoop back up and go back into all-time highs. However, I will say this wick definitely delays a lot. It takes time for assets to bottom, even major assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink. It takes time for them to bottom out because after such a big event, it's not just going to always V-shape. It could V-shape recovery, right? It doesn't always happen, but it's very possible. But if we sweep these lows and we lose that $100,000, which is a huge, huge, huge psychological level, like ginormous psychological level. If we lose that 100,000, we could very well kind of test this liquidity down here, meaning that we get back into like the $80,000 level, and at the very worst case, mid 70,000. Very worst case, we could test this level. If we lose that 100,000, then it's literally like break that support. We're gonna elevator down, stair step up, elevator down, have a few dead cat bounces, and probably bottom out here if we lose that 100,000. Again, that's that's a condition. But if we sit here and we can continue to consolidate, maybe dip down a little bit and then move up, and then break this resistance from where we fell, then it's just, clear skies ahead, good times, bull market, bull vibes, truly Q4 bullish. But maybe this is the dip that we needed. Maybe this is like a humbling dip. Maybe this is a way to get you know, those positions reset as far as those leverage positions, and maybe some people were able to buy up spot. I know some institutions were definitely buying. I'm sure Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy's buying. A lot of people are probably getting in on this dip. Um, you know, it's it's a great opportunity, right? If you're thinking long term and you saw Bitcoin dip down to around 100, you want to buy it, and you think long term it's going to a million, which I do. Great buy. Same thing with Ethereum. You saw. Let me go to the Ethereum chart. Ethereum had a very similar dip. It was literally close to all-time high, did not push all-time high, close to it, right up here on October 7th. And then from that top down to this bottom, it was a near 30, let's just say 28% dip. And it wicked down to 3,400, about 3,400, right? So low 3,000s, then kind of came back up to this 3,800. So again, nasty dip, nasty dip. Was a nasty dip across the whole market. The whole crypto market saw this. This wasn't like contained to a few assets. All assets across the whole board dump, down the drain, dump, dump, dump. Insane. I'm still in shock, if I'm being completely honest. Like I didn't foresee this coming. A lot of people didn't see it coming, but clearly the insiders were opening shorts to see this coming, profiting millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? As Trump would say. That's how it looks like. Sorry, these ads keep popping up, but literally, okay, Ethereum sitting here could shoot back up. And now I want to highlight Chainlink. So also I want to highlight the fact that Chainlink is green on the day compared to these other ones. It's up 3%, while these other ones are down. Well, Bitcoin's down almost a full percent. Ethereum looked like it may flip green, but Link is pretty heavy in the green, which is obviously super bullish. But this wick is nasty. Like, this is a disgusting wick down. If I come down here, I can see the low. You see it right here, 7.9. Right, you see it up here. If I highlight here, you'll see up there, 7.9. Chainlink wicked down to $8 and then shot back up. So if you were lucky enough to catch it down here, and currently it's sitting at 1788, if you're lucky, and I would be happy and very grateful for that dip. And if you caught it down there, you would already be up more than 100%. So you would have doubled your money if you bought directly at that bottom. Even like 850-ish at 9, you're not necessarily at 100%. But if you bought in this general area, you're already in great profit. But the one thing that was super hard and made things even harder, and I just want to kind of like press this, is exchanges. Exchanges make it super tough that when markets get super volatile, exchanges make it hard to exchange, make it hard to swap, make it hard to send assets out, make it hard to do anything. The app just crashes. I'm speaking on Coinbase and I'm speaking on Binance. These were the two centralized exchanges that literally stopped functioning. So many people were literally rushing, like opening their app, whatever they were doing, open the app, rush to the website, buy. Like, some people were selling, of course. Some people were panic selling. Other people who were thinking long term probably panic buying. You could be in either boat. But the fact is, like, none of these exchanges, or at least these two, Coinbase and Binance, were definitely down during this period. And as they were down, so as these exchanges were down, people couldn't do anything. People couldn't sell their assets. They couldn't send it off exchanges into a decentralized wallet like MetaMask, Phantom, whatever else. You couldn't sell it onto there and then do a swap on there. You couldn't do any of that because it was clogged, right? They claimed maintenance issues. But in my opinion, it's all manipulation. They want to hold your assets so you don't sell, and they want to essentially dump on your heads so that you're not able to sell and they're able to sell or maybe close their short positions and then allow you after 30 minutes, an hour to where the price already came back up. This was a quick wick. Let me tell you that. This was a quick down, right back up. We're talking chain link, quick wick to $8, already back up to like $16, $17 in the matter of like an hour, probably 30 minutes to an hour, something like that. And it was slowly climbing back up. So if you were on Binance, right, you're going to go log into Binance and like try to buy that dip, you couldn't. If you're on Coinbase and you had another asset, like let's just say you had some stables on the side, USDC, USDT, whatever you're using, and you wanted to swap that into Link, you couldn't. As a matter of fact, these exchanges weren't even showing the correct prices. If you went into these exchanges during this dip and Chainlink was actually at like $8, $9, on the exchanges, it still showed at 19, $20 per Chainlink, which was completely wrong. The data feeds were off. Everything was just completely lagging and inaccurate. Exchanges. I've had my fair share of bad experience. Sometimes I'll keep some assets on there. Sometimes I'll move it to a ledger, but ledger is also great. As long as you store your key, I'm a good advocate for a ledger, but you don't want to connect it to malicious websites because if you do one mistake and you can lose it all. There's in crypto, there's trade-offs on being on an exchange compared to like a hard wallet ledger, or even just on a decentralized wallet like MetaMask. So a lot of factors come into play, but you have to understand how to navigate this market and what to use, right? And for the people in here, please blow up that chat. Tell me how you feel. Tell me if you were trying to go on an exchange like Coinbase or Binance. Tell me if you were trying to buy this dip or trying to sell just to recover that money. That's also fine, right? Everyone has their own finances, but please blow up that chat. Tell me how you feel about this, and are you still bullish? Are you bullish? Go ahead. Tell me. Tell me in that chat how you feel about the market, how you feel about the biggest ever liquidation in history. Like this is something we may see in a movie. Literally, we may see a movie about all this. Kind of like how we saw a movie about the GameStop stock, and a few other stuff. Like there's a bunch of stuff out there, like on Netflix, like documentaries and stuff. But this is huge. Ginormous. And if we just V-shape recovery from here and literally just boom, shoot up, Trump comes out, quantitative easing, we start printing money, Trump gives us a stimulus, airdrops start coming out, left and right money starts coming, boom, 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 people start buying at a crazy rate. Like, wouldn't it be impossible? So I'm going to say we could have the biggest dip followed by the biggest rip in history. Very, very possible. All assets go to all-time highs, and we're just celebrating. Although right now the market is in max fear, in my opinion. That's not to say that we couldn't dip down further, right? That's why I was highlighting on the charts. We could sweep those lows. Very possible. Super, super possible to sweep those lows and then come back up. But if that on those lows, if that support is not held, then we're going lower. And that's just the reality of it. We had a nasty dip. If that's tested and broken, then we're probably going lower, and probably may take a few months to fully recover, and then we can come back next year, and see it kind of go. That's why I always like to think long term. Think of every dip as a buying opportunity, because long term, right, a year from now, probably going to be a little more bullish, right? Probably. Also, I just want to highlight the fact this literally just popped in my head. The government still shut down. So the government still shut down. We initially had a bullish push up as the government shut down. And now Trump made his announcement saying 100% tariffs. It's just a big mess, in my opinion. It's a huge mess, big mess, lots of stuff going on. I I don't know what the government's master plan is, but clearly they're manipulating the market, and clearly they're trying to position themselves. And maybe they just bought that dip and they're ready to send it to the heavens. Maybe. I don't know, right? The best you can do to prepare is just buy up spot. I wouldn't necessarily leverage here. That's just me, in my opinion. I personally don't love like leveraging everything, but buy up spot for the long term. Keep 20-30% in stables of your whole portfolio, and then continue to buy up the dip as we dip. Dollar cost average, that's the best method to go. Just my opinion. I do feel like that is the best way to go and the best way to handle these situations, in my opinion. So one other thing I want to highlight that's actually very fortune teller, crystal ball like. This person came out, and I want to highlight this guy. Literally came out and said bid on 10/10, which is October 10th, which is the day we saw yesterday. He came out and said bid on 10/10, but sell on 11/5, November 5th. So bid October 10th, sell November 5th. What does this guy know? Everyone saw this tweet. This tweet has over 2 million views now. On crypto Twitter, a lot of people were seeing this tweet and they were kind of like, what does this guy know? Could this be the guy that opened that short? Could this be the guy that literally made the $88 million of that short I showed you earlier? Could this be like a Trump alt account, like, or a government account? I don't know. But this guy literally came out. His handle is DGen Ping. This guy came out and literally said 10/10 bid, 11/5 sell. So if you're bidding now, not a bad idea. Let's see how true this really comes, because this guy literally one of two already check marked. 10/10 bid, cool. Yeah, you were right. We got liquidated, greatest liquidation in history. You called it, cool. Now you're bidding. Let's say you're bidding right now. We get to 11/5. Are you going to sell? Totally up to you. Depends on your outlook. If you're looking to sell and then anticipating a drop and then you want to buy more, that's a great strategy. But I do want to let you know that if that is your strategy, do not be upset if the market continues to go up when you sell, because that is the number one leading cause of causing people to FOMO back in. And that is never anything you want to do. Trust me, you never want to do that. I've been in that boat. If you sell and you see an asset continue to go up another 10-20% after you sell, and then you buy back in and then it dips 30%, you just lost money on your full trade, even though you were in profit once you sold. So my one big rule of thumb that I like to say is do not buy back in an asset after you sold right away if it continues to trend up. However, if you literally sold near the top and that asset starts to dip down, then that's when you want to start layering in and maybe securing some of the profits, and then just play with some house money to throw back in. That's kind of risk free at that point. You want to be risk adverse. You want to be risk free. That is the goal in all markets, stocks, crypto, whatever you're trading. That is literally number one rule. Do not manage your risk to the best of your ability. Take your risk initially, but always take your money off the table. That's what de-risking is. Yeah, so that's the main concept there. So this guy, something to watch out for. D Jinping could be onto something, right? Literally posted this on October 8th. So 2 days before the big collapse, could know something. Maybe not, but something to look out for. And could keep you could keep you bullish in the short to mid term. So It's not something you necessarily don't want to look at, but it's probably something that could be great. So now looking at another asset, I want to point out another asset that had a nasty, like terrible, terrible wick down. And that is this asset right here. That is Atom, to be specific. So its own layer one. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while, but you know, not a meme coin or a small coin. But this coin was literally like, $4 or $5, fluctuating, and then boom, wick down to 0.001 on Binance. So if you were in a long, you 1,000% got liquidated because that's called a scam wick or a crime wick. That wick down is on exchanges, on Binance specifically. They wick down like that and they manipulate the price on purpose so that all these people get liquidated. No long would survive that. So if you had a liquidation price even of like $1 or even down to like a cent, which I don't know what kind of leverage you'd be working with, but you got liquidated regardless. Every single person got liquidated. And that was the goal that Binance was trying to push here. That's what happened with Atom, literally. And then obviously, if you bought that low, if you had some bids in there to long a 0.001 low, then you probably made millions on the way back up from 0.001 all the way back up to almost $3. So there's always two cards, both sides to play in this game. But these are just the crazy, absolutely ridiculous kind of liquidations that we're seeing here. And, Trump still came out, right? Trump literally came out and was trying to push that rate and said he's not changing. He actually came out saying 130%. I saw this morning. He said putting out 130%, and it's coming out November 1st. November 1st, as of right now. And the government is shut down, just to say, where's any of this even coming from? Like, I don't really understand. I'm not like a political government guy, but like if you how can you set this rate when a government's shut down? But that's a whole nother discussion, right? Trump's coming out and he's reaffirming and he's doubling down and he's saying, I'm not budging. 130% tariff for China on November 1st. And then he said we will also impose export controls on any and all critical software. So literally, think of all the big tech. The tech is probably panicking. I don't even know what the stock market's going to do on Monday. It's probably going to be a bloodbath. If I'm being utterly and completely honest, Monday will probably be a bloodbath in the market. Crypto will probably be affected by it, and that's probably when we revisit and wick down to those lows. And then from there, decision time. Do we V up or do we kind of consolidate there? Keep testing support and then boom, break down. That will be the tell-all tale. And I feel like that's going to be this next week's going to be super big, especially Monday, stock market open. We'll see how crypto reacts, see how the week goes. But then again, we could get some bullish news. Trump could literally come out tomorrow or Monday morning and be like, actually, we're going to take tariffs away completely. That would be insanely bullish. That would just be a roller coaster that we're going on. Roller coaster started at the top, all-time highs. Boom, we hit that first drop. Now we're about to go up and continue up. This is the type of volatility that you see. If you haven't seen this volatility, if you weren't there back Luna, COVID crash, all these other crashes, well, welcome. You're here now. You can consider yourself more of a seasoned crypto trader, investor, whatever you want to call it, because you just experienced the largest liquidation in crypto history. So, anything can happen at a point. Anything, it's a big week ahead. So keep your, eyes open, your ears peeled, kind of look out for this news and then have some capital ready is my opinion and my advice. Again, not financial advice, but I just want you to be aware and be ready for whatever could happen. Have some capital ready. If you're, trying to buy a dip, let's say you want to buy some Bitcoin, have some capital ready, you see it wick back down to around that 100,000 level, start layering in, throw in 10%. And then let's just say it does dip down past that support down to 90,000, 10% down to 80,000, another 10% to where you're fully layered in, and then just play the waiting game. It's just patience from that point. Patience is the hardest thing in the market, but if you can master it, then you'll make money. Simple as. Yeah, so I'm gonna end the stream there. Thank you everyone for joining. Please like this video, like this stream. Please subscribe to my channel. Please support your boy because I'm trying to make it big out here. I'm trying to get a platform going. I want you to be more active on stream. So please blow up that chat. Please like, comment, subscribe. Give me all that traction, and I would very, very much appreciate it. And don't forget, I have a coaching program in the description below. You can join my coaching program and we can do one-on-one sessions just like this, but it's just me and you. Hop on like a call, Zoom call, whatever you want. And, I can kind of break down the market and help you strategize. I can give you, kind of a better idea. Maybe you have a question about security, question about anything, any new project that comes out. I'm in the market every day. I have that knowledge. I've been in the market now for like 6+ years. So I'm here to give you that knowledge. I'm here to help you out. And until next time, I'll see you guys. I'll do another live stream hopefully soon. Maybe we'll do it during the week. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace out. Have a beautiful weekend. And remember, long-term bullish, this is just one event. Don't be spooked. Don't be scared. It is Halloween, so they're trying to spook you. But we're going to come up stronger from this. Just remember that. Until next time, guys. Peace out. Thanks for joining. See ya.